Hello, this is a Stentor Igneus, a type of stentor that is very pink and red looking. Igneous is a Latin word for looking fiery, which is because of the pink pigment here. That's why it was named that. And next to that are two little ciliates. They might be tetrahymena, conjoining and swapping micronuclei. Here was just a camera test because I got a new camera set up where I'm using like an adapter to put my mirrorless camera straight into the microscope's trinocular port, and it looks much better than my old camera setup. But here's a different stentor. This one's moving next to a bunch of Euroleptis and random ciliates. I don't know what those are, but this was taken from the top of a fish tank. I had let the fish tank sit for a while, and I had added milk. So the milk formed these little structures on top that almost look like little flowers. So then I dabbed it over a slide and then put a cover slip on, of course. And this was the result of that. And it gets a lot better detail than my old camera did. But you can see the little pigments there. And that was just a focus through to see what was going on in it. But there's a bunch of bacteria, like you can see to the left right now, and that was because of the milk. And that's why there's so much stuff here, and it's eating a lot. So these might get pretty big, but you can also see the texture there, and it looks three-dimensional because the slide was super thick, so it's not restrained, which also means it's hard to see. But this is what they would more naturally move like if they weren't obstructed by a slide. But I think that's that's not a Euroleptis, but that little ciliate there is getting sucked in, and a bunch of these are. I don't know what those ones are. But there's a bunch of Euroleptis here. I also saw a Euroleptis explode due to osmotic pressure on the slide I took before this. I also saw a Stentor polymorphus explode, which I'm going to post soon in another video, because I couldn't include it in this one because I was having like an SD card problem, so I just have to do them as two separate videos. But they might cover like the same thing, but the Stentor polymorphus explosion was very cool looking, and it got huge because it was the contractile vacuoles failed, so it kept getting bigger because of the water entering the cell through osmosis. But here is another stentor, and the cilia like pop out with this camera, and they do that really good compared to the other one. And you can see like little dots which make up its pigment. That's not like endosymbiotic pink algae, but it almost looks like it if it was just smaller. I'm not sure what gives them that pigment. But it also seems to surround only the outsides on the cell wall. Here was a bubble, and a bunch of stuff was here. They may have been releasing pheromones to do conjugation, which might explain why so many were clinging to the same bubble. Or they might have just been going in random directions and encountered the bubble but didn't know how to get away from the bubble. So I'm not exactly sure what's happening there, and it's several different species. But that was a little chidorid, and that's a different stentor over there. I think that's Stentor Igneus. But this was an old exploded Stentor polymorphus like I was talking about earlier. But that was the remnants of it, and that'll be posted in a separate video. But here was another bubble. those little things, they might be Tetrahymena or Paramecium aurelia, but I'm not sure. A lot of this stuff is going to be really hard to identify because it's just so diverse and there's so much stuff here. And then one of them, no, that wasn't here. That one right there is, it had this weird growth attached to it, which was probably part of the cell membrane collapsing, and it probably tried to repair the cell wall pretty quickly, so it now has a growth. It might have survived that, but that would probably be death through osmotic pressure. But here's what they look like up close, so that may actually be Paramecium aurelia. And then those little things might be Tetrahymena, but probably not. Here was another Stentor Igneus. This is in a fully mobile state, but its cilia are moving really slowly, so you can see them a lot. This could have been about to die, but I'm not sure. But all of my Stentors are probably going to die quickly because there's a lot of Gammarids and Cyclopses in here, which eat Stentors. Haven't seen them eat a Stentor yet, though. But there's these like little rotating colonies of bacteria that I think that's a singular one there, but earlier there were some, and I'm not exactly sure what those were. But I'd like an idea on those, and if anyone knows like the identifications of any of these little ciliates, you can tell me through like the comment section. But here was a really weird ciliate. This is a predatory ciliate. This isn't a stentor or something, and you can see on the end of that little proboscis there's a mouth, like on Dileptus. But this looks nothing like Dileptus, so it might be some weird species or something. But the entire body structure is like way different from the Dileptus that I've seen, and I still need to make a video on those. But on like the middle of the screen, you can see there's like a little organelle for consuming food. But anyways, bye.